Good afternoon and welcome back to Living on a UK State Pension. This will be tagged on to the last of the month shopping and reconciliation of all the finances, etc. Fingers crossed this is the absolute last shop anyway. I spent a total of £12.09 in Asda. And we're Saturday the 8th of March, and I've been waiting for such a long time for the mincemeat to go down in price. It's been £1.69 the whole time, and normally by the end of January they've reduced it, and today's the first day it was missing off the normal shelf, so I knew it had to be on the discounted shelf. So it was down to 79p. So I got 3 of those. I needed the mince. I need 600 grams for me and 400 grams for Bertie, which will see his stay through here. And then I'm going to the butcher's in Ipswich next month. I'm going to do a run over to my daughter and go and get 3 kilos or maybe even 4 kilos of mince from him, because this has now gone up to £7.95. Well, that's almost £1 rise in 3 months. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But there we are. It's not going to change, and that is for £7.95 for a kilo of 5% lean beef steak mince. Bertie's cooked ham as well. Whatever he doesn't eat, I shall send it back with him or freeze it for the next time he comes. A yellow sticker bread, which was 45p, down from 80, and that's because I wanted a sausage sandwich. So I had my sausage sandwich at lunchtime when I got back, well, mid-morning when I got back from Aquasize. Sat on the floor with Bertie in the sunshine on his bed and promptly fell asleep for an hour. So there we are. And I've cheated a little bit, and I've bought a chili con carne sauce mix, because I was tired and I just couldn't think whether I had the right spices in the cupboard or not. This was 40p, so I got it. And that's it. That's £12.09 gone. Good morning and welcome back to Living on a UK State Pension. My name's Tanya, I'm 68 years old, and for this next, as from Monday the 17th, when my new pension hits my bank account, I will have 36 weeks left of the challenge to live on my state pension for the year. And the reason I'm doing this is because I had a complete overspend with my renovation, but more so with when I needed furniture and other bits and pieces, the comfort end of the scale, and the money's got to go back. So I'm living on my state pension and putting my civil service pension away in a savings account. And yes, it's going in a good savings account so that I get a return on it while I'm saving slowly, because you shouldn't let your money just dwindle inside a bank. Keep an eye on it and make sure you're getting the best rate. It's never been as easy as it is now to swap around accounts and get the best for your money. It is so simple, and if you're unsure, get a family member. I know it may mean breaching a little bit of your privacy, but if you learn how able to do it, then you're always going to be on your A game as far as your savings. And let's face it, with the current climate, we need to make every penny work for us. So the pennies that are in the bank, the pennies that we're spending, pounds I should say, but everything, every aspect of our money we should be looking at on a regular basis. That goes for your bills, everything. Now we're at the end of another 4-week period. My pension drops into my bank account tomorrow. Today is Sunday the 16th. My pension goes in the morning, but I've already done a tally up of my food and my spending money and had a good look at my bank account to see what's going on. And everything is good. Everything is covered in my current account. I've had no hiccups. I've had no extras to pay for other than what I knew about and have allowed for. So let's just quickly cover the food. £98.38. £98.38. £50.09 of that was the Asda gift card, which left me with a balance of £48.29. £3 of that was the M&S card, which meant I spent a total of £45.29 in cash. So I ended up having to borrow 29p. I loaned 12p from my spending account to balance this up, rather than draw another £5. So that's not bad. So as from tomorrow, an extra £75, what I haven't spent on food with regard to my budget, because I allow 120, but I've used £45 of the 120, so I've got £75 to go into my odds and sods savings, what I call, which then will come up to a nice total of £640. Don't forget £300 of that is earmarked already for repairs to my car. So I'm really, really pleased with that. Right, the next bit is my spending. I've done my credit card bit, my spend on my credit card there. It's less than £100, but I'm going to pay £100 off. I'm going to do that because it doesn't matter that I'm in credit a little bit. It just helps in the future. So I'm going to pay a straight £100 of that off tomorrow, which I allow for in my overall budgeting. So that's good. So £7.99 were the clogs from Lidl that I bought, £22 for my hair, £3 on coffee and something else, and I can't find the receipt. But I know it was £3 on the 23rd. I've even written it down, but I can't find the receipt. Then there was £1 on seeds from Poundland. These ones were £1. They were 50p each. And I went back and I got another one from my friend because she said she wanted to grow some bits and pieces this year. And I'll be starting these off very soon. In fact, I've got a meal to make after this that I've already parboiled the butternut squash for. And yeah, I'll be making the Spanish tortilla. I'm going to make it entirely out of butternut squash. I did do a trial run, it didn't work out, so I'm going to try something different and I'll film it so you can see. The only thing I didn't like, I hadn't cooked the onions, and they did taste, because I think I've mentioned before, the onions I bought from Lidl are very, very strong at the moment. And yeah, I didn't like the flavour, so I'm going to cook the onions and maybe get a handful of leeks out from the freezer. There's still got a bag of leeks out there that I didn't use. And yeah, I'm going to layer the butternut squash with leeks and onions. I'm going to toast them in the air fryer for a little while and then pour the egg mixture over, and hey presto, let's see what we've got. Anyway, £1 for the seeds, £1 in Home Bargains, and another £1 down there for Poundland. And while I was in Poundland, I bought some roasted peanuts. For me, not roasted peanuts, roasted cashews. So I had them while I was hungry on the way home, rather than resort to chocolate. And the next day I had them. What did I have them with? I can't remember. Did I crush them and put them with my yoghurt and peanut porridge? I think I may have done. The seed compost from Asda was £2.50. Not pleased with it. So I'm going to have to mix it with something else, because it's just like wood pulp. I did contemplate taking it back, but it will be okay once I mix it in with some compost I have got. So very disappointed with that, but it isn't the first time. Lots of people have been complaining about compost now. It's, I'm trying to think. It's peat free. We're getting a lot of compost that's been made out of wood pulp, and it's not broken down enough. So you're getting big pieces of wood or pulp in there where it hasn't been aerated. It needs a machine to break it up even more. Anyway, that's that. And the last thing was my Avon lady drops this off, and I treated myself to some Express Growth Nail Serum at £4.50. As I say, I like to support her because she walks miles with that baby, delivering catalogues, and yes, she's a lovely girl, and take my hat off to her. She's trying to earn a little bit of money, and that's all good with me. So that came to £44.99. So I shall be taking forward £7.48. I've already worked out that I don't have a haircut in the next 4 weeks. So all my spending money I'll be able to use, not earmark like I have when I have my hair. So I'm going to have another look for another swoon costume and use some of my spending money on that, because I do need a second costume, because the other one is breaking down now. And when I go Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, you've only got a day in between all of them to get everything dry. And you shouldn't put a costume in a tumble dryer. And if we have rain, I'm snookered to get the costume dry. So I'd rather have two. So I'm on the lookout for another costume. So everything in my budget book has balanced, and I'm really pleased with that. So tomorrow I'll add another £100 to my holiday fund, which means I'll have £500 in my holiday fund, which is going well. As I said, I'll have £640 in my in my spending savings account, but £300 of that is earmarked already for my car. And my bills account, which is bills that only come annually, will have £528 when I add another £155 to that tomorrow. I've got no bills this month this next 4 weeks, and I've got no birthdays, so I shouldn't have to touch that. So, but in the next month I've got a birthday. All my bills, annual bills, come towards the end of the year, and that's when I go through money very quickly. House insurance, car tax, what else? MOT, yeah, you know, you've gone through over £1,000 before you've blinked, basically. Right, I gave £100 to charity out of my earnings last month, or last month in YouTube, in January. January's takings, I've only been paid for January, and I gave £100 to charity. I took £36.36. I took £30 down to the pet food bank, and they gave me a receipt for it, and they were really chuffed. They said thank you very much for that. And they're in the Salvation Army on a Friday, where there is also a food bank, and they have a dog food bank where they set a table up to one side, and they give and they give out food to people that can't afford to pay for food for their dog, which is a brilliant idea. So that was £30 of it, and another £30 of it was this food shop I did that went straight into the food bank in Asda. And it came to £29.56, so I put the 44p that was left in, well, there was a box there, I can't remember. It was a charity box on the customer service. No, I can't remember. But I bought baked beans, corned beef, soup, spaghetti, pot noodles, mackerel, pasta sauce, microwave rice, biscuits, crackers, tortillas, ketchup, crisps, squash, cup of soup, milk, cereal, cornflakes, just to name a few things on there. Hopefully you can see some of that. Anyway, the last payment of £40, I went and delivered it by hand. I went to the community cafe and I asked the lady in there, I knocked on the door because it had a sign that was closed, but I could see people in there, and she came out and had a chat with me. And from Monday and Tuesday, they're predominantly are making meals for the community that are then delivered to people, because you can order them. And it's a range of meals for elderly, sick and infirm, and end of life that they take meals out to. Now these meals have to be paid for, but some of them are subsidised by charity, and I believe maybe some local organisations. I'm going to meet with her. I'm going to have a cup of coffee with her, a cup of tea, and we'll discuss things a bit more, because she was rushed and I didn't want to hold her up. And she sent me a receipt, and I will put it on here so you can see the receipt by email. And she was telling me that on a Wednesday afternoon they hold a dinner between 3 and 5 where they cater for Alzheimer's, dementia, and their carers, and they're fed, and they have music. Sometimes they have a band, and I just thought, how lovely that, you know, the carers are included as well, because we all need a break, you know, for whatever reason. When you're, you know, it's like when you've got children, isn't it? You know, to have someone else make you a meal, even now when someone else makes me a meal, it might be egg and chips, which is my favourite anyway, but do you know what? It tastes different when someone makes you that meal. It really does taste different. I don't know what it is, maybe because you haven't had to make it, or the obvious one, but it is so nice to be able to put your feet up and someone else do the running around for a change. So that was great to hear. They do tea and coffee is only about £1.50 a cup in there, and they're expanding. They're expanding. So she was quickly trying to take me through some of the things that they're going to be doing. Now, one of the other things, once they've built a new kitchen, the other end of this building that they've got, they're going to take in, or offer, I should say, they're going to offer cooking classes. And these may be for people, and she said, husbands, widowers that have found themselves suddenly having to cater for themselves because they've always had a wife that cooked and looked after them, and they're a little bit lost after losing their wife, and so they can go to this club, they can learn to cook. The other thing they're going to try and get across, they're going to cover batch cooking as well, because she asked me did I want to come and help out with that, and I've said yes, I will. You know, teaching people how to batch cook. And what was the last thing? Oh yes, they're going to have an outside area eventually where they're going to have a little garden centre, and hopefully people can donate plants, spares that they're growing, and yeah, put them out there to sell and raise even more money for the community cafe and the people in the, you know, in the community that it's serving. And she did say to me, she said, you know, we were talking and I said, I'm making 3 donations this month. And I told her about the dog food one, the pet food one. And she said to me, she said, we have a customer who we found out she was giving half of her meal to her dog when it was delivered. She said, so we now make her meal twice as big so that she's not going without for the dog. And I thought, how lovely. And it sounds like they really do take into consideration everything about the people who they are providing meals for, the end of life people, you know, trying to tempt them with something that they may enjoy when maybe they're not up to eating a great deal. But I thought that was really worthwhile. So thank you for watching me, and thank you for your donation. Your donations, because they're as much your donations. You're giving your time to watching the occasional ad, which is turning into money which I'm able to donate to good causes as far as I'm concerned. The budget is on the 26th, and the newspapers have definitely, the media as a whole I should say, have definitely grabbed onto the idea that ISAs are going to be hit, and instead of being allowed to put 20,000 into an ISA in a year, it's going to drop to 4,000, because she wants to encourage people investing in stocks and shares ISAs instead of cash ISAs. I don't know what I feel about that. The banks are pleading with her not to do it at the moment because they fear that it's going to hit the mortgage market, because they need people's savings to give out as mortgages. And yeah, they're worried. The banks are worried about it. So we're all waiting to see what's going to happen. You know, we're going to end up paying more for something, aren't we? You know, we never ever hear, very rarely do we hear we're going to pay less for something. So, and the last thing that I was reading in the news as well was there is a severe shortage of lorry drivers, and this has been going on quite a while now. And what that is really going to affect in the future, probably, is fresh goods. Because we buy so much from Holland, Spain, places like that, you know, so that we can have food all year round, your lettuce, your tomatoes, etc., etc. And they believe that that's the area of the deliveries that is really going to be hit, because of course lorry drivers are on, they have tachographs, they have limited time they can drive, so they can't suddenly do twice the amount of deliveries because there's a shortage of drivers, because the law forbids that. They have a certain amount of time they can drive and then they have to rest up. So the problem's going to be there regardless of, you know, how quickly they can get people on board. Yes, bearing in mind shortage of lorry drivers, and your fresh goods could be hampered with, maybe it's time to try out growing something yourself so that you can subsidise what may or may not be in the shops in the near future. I'm not scaremongering, I'm only telling you what I've read, and yeah, it might be worth it. Growing something yourself. So I think that's it. I think that's all I need to say at the moment, and I'm really, really pleased with how the money is panning out and how I'm, you know, keeping on top of it, thanks to you, thanks to all of you. Just waiting now, which will be any day now, we'll get in the UK, we'll be getting our council tax bills for the next year. And that is the last one, I believe, fingers crossed, that I've got to add to my new budget for April onwards, because my new pension comes in, my new rise will kick in, only a little bit to begin with. The first full one will actually be May. But yeah, I'll know how much better off I'm going to be. But it's like anything, isn't it? In one hand, out with the other, because already companies are contacting us to put the money up on bills everywhere, you know. So there we are, something that can't be avoided. So we've just got to look after that money. Check your ISAs, check your energy companies. Is there any cheaper tariffs out there that you could be on? Because now is the time when you're using less energy, as we come up to spring and summer and autumn, you can start banking money in your energy, as in have a surplus that will take you through the winter, some of the harsher months in the winter. So check your tariffs. Have all the details written down in a book so you know exactly what tariff you're on now and whether there's a better deal out there. And what else? What else is there? Continue budgeting. I honestly can't believe, since I've had my head back in the game, how much I am saving. It's incredible, really. It's quite shocking what I used to just fritter away. And I mean that. It's made me home in on my clothes buying and everything else. And as you can see, I'm not going without anything. I'm really not going without anything. But next month will be the first month probably that I will have to start using my entire £120 food budget, because I need to go to Ipswich after my car is mended and I feel fine about the car. Basically, that's the end of the last 4-week money finance reconciliation, and everything's hunky-dory. So thumbs up. Thank you for watching. I hope you're all well, and thank you for your comments and spending time watching my ramblings and what I get up to. And yeah, I really, really appreciate it. So thank you.